So this AI thing, I want to explain something that's very important that everybody should be thinking about as we take on the biggest shift in our lifetimes. So, how do you deal with a new trend that's happening? The new trend being AI clones, right? Sounds scary. You probably thought of Star Wars. I believe that you should learn how to take everything that's in here, everything that's gotten you to this point so far, and multiply it. But you can't just take that and put it into a computer and expect that it's going to be awesome your first go. And that's something that is a very common mistake, is they think that if they just learn a couple of prompts that they can immediately take full advantage of all the buzzwords. We've got, of course, AI. Of course, then we've got agent. And then the reason you clicked on this video, clone. But guess what? If you don't know how to talk to the computer properly, and you don't know how to take this thing in here, this is the money, your head, that piece of your own computer, and basically break it down into all of the skills that you have. So let's say you have some skills. You have sales, maybe you have some marketing skills, maybe you're a code guy. We have a coder, we've got a designer, we've got all of these things. You need to learn what are the steps within each one of those skills that you are currently doing. And when you do that, not only will you have what are called SOPs, standard operating procedures around how you work, but you're going to learn maybe some of these don't even need to exist. Maybe when I go and I code something, I have 10 different things that I do for every project. But guess what? After I've even just taken a look at these 10, I don't need these. And so that is what you're doing. Before you can go to clones, you can't just jump in and be like, oh, I'm going to clone myself. Like you might have saw in the video and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be sick. I'm going to clone myself. In order to clone yourself, you have to learn yourself. And you have to be honest about what are the skills that I have such that I can get leverage on them. And so what first step is, it's kind of introspective because you're doing essentially a calendar audit. And you're hearing those two words together, you've already clicked away. But guess what? Do this one time where across your week, you've got 7 days. And most people, they don't do much on the weekends. That's fine. But you have the other ones. So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And within one of those, what you'll do is each day when you go and you do something for work, whatever it is that you're doing, afterwards, you need to actually take literally 10 minutes right here. And you look at it and you go, what did I do there? And you start listing those things out. And that's just one block of time. Now, if you are on what's called the maker schedule, you'll need long blocks of uninterrupted time. If you don't have a maker schedule, you have the manager schedule, might look more like this. But guess what? You could probably get out of this manager schedule if you put some automations in place. Now, you heard the word and you're like, oh my gosh, automations, where's the prompt? No, we're still here. We have to learn about ourselves because, look, it's not like we can just take a petri dish and then throw it at a computer. We're not quite there yet. But what we can do is be honest about the things that we have and how we spend our time each day, and then start to build a system around those, reduce the number of steps that we have for each one, and systematize the things that we do. So a lot of people ask me, how do you make all these YouTube videos? Well, there's a system. There's a set of steps. There's a process, and you follow it. And each time that you do it, you learn the efficiencies of the system. And you can't just skip ahead. If you start automating anything, even if you're an AI engineer or an engineer who knows how to use ChatGPT, you're going to automate a bad process. So for 1 week, what you'll do is after each thing, just literally start with that one piece of advice, which is like right here, just go and list the things, and you'll do that for a day. And I promise you're going to wake up. You're going to be like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff in here that I just didn't even need to be doing. Now imagine that after a week. You're going to quickly understand that the bottom quartile of the things that you're doing don't even need to be there. And that's the best form of productivity. Like if you have a thing that you have to do and said thing has 10 items in it, and you all of a sudden, after you audited it, you've just saved all this, that's awesome. Now, if you didn't do that, then you'd be automating garbage. So that's the first step. Go do it after each block of time. Get a little bit comfy with it, because you're going to watch this and be like, oh my gosh, like this guy is like going to sell me a book or something or a course. Don't buy anything from me, but just do this, and I promise it'll be helpful. Now, if you've already done this before, I hope that you are now planning stuff either in the morning or the night before right here, just to be like, yo, like I'm going to sleep better if I know what it is that I need to do here. And then weekly on your Sunday, you just say, okay, I'm going to have my weekly goal. Cool. So this was all just like productivity 101, like how to be a productive person. Because guess what? When you multiply this thing over here, if it's not already productive, then you're just multiplying an inefficient process. So if we look at all this stuff that I just scribbled, the whole thing is basically step one is, you document how you're doing things. That is the most important thing. You can't do anything with automation until you document the process. Cool? So you've done that. Then you've did the process. So if you remember just a short few minutes ago, I had said, okay, for everything that you do across any area, you have steps to it. If you're in the gym, what do? You have a routine. And when you go and you do it, you just literally check things off, and we get that little dopamine release, which is really important because it's the accomplishment. And when you can gamify it in a way, then you'll continue to do it, right? This is a good form of dopamine, makes you feel good. So because we had documented that process, this stupid eraser, I'm going to lose my mind. Because we had documented the process before, now we have a basis to work with. We have something that we can then go and make better. We have documented the first version. Now we're coming in, and in the case of sales, it's going to look different from the gym, obviously. But now my little pencil's just like busting on me. I don't understand. Okay, there we go. Now we're able to audit the process. So if you had, let's just say 10 items here, now let's say 7, so you had a 30% reduction, and you should be deleting steps or combining them. You either keep them, you kill them, or you combine them. It's part of the EOS system for business, which is what we ran at our startup that sold. It was good. And so now that we've audited the process, you're probably antsy. You're probably like, Artie, oh my gosh, dude, like I gotta watch TikTok, my brain, I can't handle this. No, stick with me. You've audited the process. You now have a good looking set of steps. You've got 7 of them. And only then at that point can you think about trying to make what's called an agentic workflow. Now you're seeing words that you like. It pairs with the Godfather looking thumbnail. I know. Agentic is very different from agent. This little IC, it's not an independent contractor. It is a different word than agent. Agentic means, cool, you've done this step manually a bunch of times, and you should, because then you know the ins and outs of it. It's like someone trying to automate thumbnails that's never made a good thumbnail. Cool, you're going to make a bunch of them that suck. Or someone that makes automated DMs, never done it manually. If they haven't done it manually, they don't know what success looks like, right? Same thing with someone trying to build you a gym routine and they're fat. It's not going to work. So now that you've done this thing already, right? I'm assuming you've already done it a bunch of times, and then you have this huge aha moment when you've audited it. Like you've already got a dub. You're like smiling ear to ear. You're like, oh my gosh, I figured out how to save time because I just took a good look at it and I started setting these goals. Then you're in the workflow stage. And that's when we can get into some tech, because you've already gotten these reps, you've learned the inefficiencies, you've maxed it out, and you need to automate. So agentic means that you take a step. So each circle is going to represent a step in the SOPs we defined earlier. So this would be 1, this would be 2, and we'll go and we'll draw 4, 5, 6, 7. So each one of these little circles represents a step in the process across, let's say, your 1 hour block of work. Now, there will be ones in here that cannot be automated. If you work on tractors, you're not even watching this video because you don't know what this means. It doesn't apply to you. There's probably stuff you could, but different knowledge workers have different requirements. If you're in sales, for instance, you don't want agentic workflows for doing phone calls. Like, it's not good enough. It actually cheapens your whole thing. It's not going to close better than you. But there's probably a lot of stuff around it. So when you've then had all these steps and you start mapping them to, this is the first thing that I do, when I go do it. This is the second thing. This is the third. There's likely one in here about maybe writing something or coding something or communicating something. There might be something about saving something or updating something. There might be something about sharing something. There's all these little step functions that we humans today are just used to doing. We're used to writing something from scratch. Now people know about ChatGPT. That's why you clicked on this video. But what's happening at a quick clip coming from someone who builds these and is able to produce a significant amount of output that is valuable to a lot of people, what I've learned is this is the beginning of changing everything in the way that you work on a computer. Wow, that sounds crazy. Well, okay, here's a good example. We just laid out a fake workflow of I do sales work, I do outreach, I've heard of automated outreach, I've heard of personalized outreach, but there's still steps in between. I need to follow up, I need to save, I need to share. When you think of these basic ideas, a computer's going to do this on your behalf soon. So you still need to, when you get to this step, basically go and learn the most simple version of building an agentic workflow, which is picking up a tool. This is the most friendly one. It's called make.com. I am not a make.com person. It's not what I use today, but it's what I use to learn. I frame this as when you're learning to ride a bicycle, you have training wheels. Make.com is the one with training wheels. That is no offense to the people that love it and it is their thing. That is not derogatory. That is just the truth comparing to other solutions and what they're capable of doing. But for the average person who is non-technical or even technical, you go and you pick up a tool and you pay $9 a month, and there is infinite free content on the internet about learning how to do this to automate things across your week. And this is going to be as simple in 5 years from now as people writing emails. The tools will change, but the primitives, the skill set of learning how do I break down the things that I do every day such that I can build personalized automations. That's the big differentiator, because a lot of people right now, they're going and there's lots of vendors that are individuals like myself that are technical, or a couple of people that work together as an agency, and they're selling these and they work a little bit. They do work, but there's a short shelf life because it's going to get very saturated. And how you stand out is, again, you. It's you actually learning, like, how do I make it work for me? Because we're in like the first inning of people even doing this, where it's like, oh, like when I get to the writing step, instead of going to ChatGPT and opening the window, I just put the thing in here. And then, whoa, I can save it to this. And then, whoa, like when my boss wants it, I can automatically send it to him. And whoa, when the client wants something, I can hit him with like a quick reply and then generate a new version of, I don't know, the spreadsheet or whatever it is. And so the ability to learn this now is going to pay dividends fast, because if you just looked at your calendar and you're like, okay, I'm just going to do 1 hour a week, or like sit down, I'm going to pick one of the things in the 7 tasks so I can just chip away at it. And the best way to do that is you pick up a tool like this and you're trying to just shave off that list. So again, we go to the list and we're like, okay, we have 7 things. I can't count. And we are working at automating the different steps within all of these. So you might find the easiest one is going to be here. You stack rank them by difficulty. That's how you should do it when you get started, because you can just pick them off. And let's say you only got 2. Well, great. Those 2, that's really helpful. And you might say to yourself, well, this needs something like maybe an edit. I don't trust it. But that's how it works. You're actually not fully automating it. You'll prioritize tasks that maybe don't go out. They don't touch payments. There's things that you don't want to totally just give the AI. But you'll basically have it so that it'll do the task for you and then say, hey, like, I did this for you. And then you can review it on your phone or your computer. And that saves you time. So this investment will pay fast. And I gotta just explain what the next level of it is, because agentic means there are steps, but it's not autonomous, meaning it's not going to go on its own and do the whole thing. Now, an agent is different. An agent would be the steps. So it completes the steps, but it can go and make its own decisions, which is cool. And within an agent, we'll just put this here, they have tools. And the tools can do a lot of stuff. So you have an agent, and then you also have a sub agent. And this is where it gets really cool. Because once you've done this process and you've gone from, okay, cool, Parker, I watched this video, I trust you because you seem like you know what's going on. I'll go and I'll look at my calendar. I did that. I listed out the steps. I cut a couple of them out. And then now I'm down here. I audited it again. I went and I spent a couple hours. It's literally just a couple hours learning how to use this. Whoa, cool. OpenAI's in here. That's dope. You're going to have all these little dopamine releases. Oh my gosh, I can hook it up to this. I can hook it up to that. I can tell it to do this. I can tell it to do that. It's just nuts. Then you're going to be like, whoa, what can I do next? So that's when you've run it enough times where you're like, okay, I trust this thing. I'm going to start taking its training wheels off. So that's when you say, okay, cool. You're good. Set you free. And that's literally when you've done this again, lots of times. But you're going to be incentivized to do so because you've deleted steps. Because this that took you 10 minutes before, and it took you, let's say, 2 hours to set up. What is that, 12 times? You do it on your 13th time, you're already net positive just on that time. And then everything that you do moving forward is just going to compound because you've learned that skill. That's the secondary effect of spending the time on that skill. So now you start setting it free, and you got a little mini me that is doing that one little task that you wouldn't have been able to even start by going to make.com had you not defined it. If you're really good, you can do all of this in like a weekend, by the way. If you're technical, then you can really fly. But then finally you get to the clone, the version of you that in your brain, you have all these skills, right? It's going to look like a bicycle wheel. And then some of them you just kind of have to do to pay the bills. It's just part of the process. But your whole goal is basically just start to knock these out, all right? So I always try to, make this like list or this bar column. And I just say, I think that someone that's doing a good job can knock the bottom 25% of all the stuff that they're doing, whether it's code, whether it's media, marketing, sales, but it has to still render results. And that's the whole point of this video is a lot of people, they just look at it and they just think of like automation and they're just maximizing and optimizing for that, but they don't think of essentially like ROI. And so you can do 50% automated and go and start doing all this other stuff. But if it's not rendering the business results you want, it could actually be negative. Like it could be down here, not good. Or you could be adding more stuff and then this number doesn't go up. It's just stagnant because you're actually burning relationships, burning deals, burning the code that's not right. So the only way that you can get to this is by going and doing the work of taking your existing skills, personalizing the absolute crap out of every step, not putting it on someone to build it. Sure, hire someone, pay them $3K to build one of them for you, but it won't be as good as you actually learning the skill. And this is just the best time to do it. Like it's absolutely the best time. And just to anchor my social proof on this, what I built a couple days ago is I produce videos to promote my services. I have software as a service. I have a cat on my screen. I sell software as a service. I run an AI community of AI developers. And the way that I market is I just talk about the things that I do. But I don't like spending all the time around the content. I love this part. This is great because it's just like I'm talking to friends about stuff that I'm interested in. But the process, and again, this came out of me doing it so many times manually until I broke, where I literally could not continue to do it manually or it would bleed into other things that I do, like coding. So I would go and I'd do that same exact thing. It's so simple, not easy. You put in the work, you list the things, you do it over and over again because this list will change. The first time you do it, the first thumbnail that I made for making videos, if I just open up, I started making content like 6 weeks ago. I've done it many times, but never stuck to it. But if I make a look and I just scroll up, like that's not as good. And this was after a lot of reps, right? So while you're actually doing the thing, you're getting better at it and you're defining better steps And then if I can ever find this folder, I'll show you it. But yeah, you can look at this and it's like, oh boy, that's not like, what? But because I got the reps, it's better. And so in my case, I did it like that. And then I said, okay, well, I know how to program. Why would I use Make when I can go on a platform that I can automate and build the agents, aka the clones of me, to go and do all of it? Where can you do that? You can do that on Google Cloud. And so all the steps around a YouTube video include not just recording it, but uploading it. And then do you need to edit it? Does the audio need to be changed? Do you need a good title? Do you need description? Do you need subtitles? Do you need tags? Do you need transcripts? There's a lot of stuff, right? And so I found it helpful to, of course, do it over and over and over again. And then finally, I have a couple of agents that do a couple of things. So when I finish a video, what I do is I just drop it into here. And you notice there's no items because it's self-sanitizing. This is connected to a petabyte of storage in a cloud in South Carolina. And when I finish this video and I go to bed, that set of me, those clones of me are doing the things that I normally had to do with my taste, my style, my brand, my look, my feel, my tonality, because I have done it so many times, because I put in the reps, because I know how to tweak it. And you get there by just doing it over and over again. Just to explain, like I drag and drop it on here, and then in about, depending on how long the video is, let's say 30 minutes, if it's 4K an hour, it's going to go and it's going to generate the transcript. It's going to generate, which means I can go to multi-language if I want to and dub it. Kind of crazy. I can go and write the description, the chapter markers, so you see those things at the bottom, the titles. And I'm at a step now where I want to get the titles texted to me. I can select one of them. It'll continue. So we haven't fully, we're still in agentic workflow. We're going towards agent. That's the phase I'm in right now, is agentic. But I can't just jump to agent because then the quality goes down. And then it's like, oh, this is AI slop. This is garbage. And I don't want to put my face on it. So I'll get that. And over time, as it learns my style and we see, oh, this one, these titles work. Because after the video goes out, we're looping back and we have an agent that can analyze it, see it, what works, what didn't. We can change that into the cuts that we do in the future. Do we want to have it be snappier? Is he talking too slow? Is he too loud? All those things. And that plays into literally everything. The thumbnails, getting texted 4 of them with distinct style. I only have distinct style because I've done it. It's insane. I'm mind blown by it. And building on Google Cloud, I'm going to be able to do literally anything. And yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I am out of here. Just kidding. Make sure you like the video. I'll never automate that. That's always so fun to say. But yeah, like the video if you found it interesting. I have a whole bunch of other videos on here about similar stuff. And if you want to learn more, if you're an AI enthusiast, whether it's in coding, marketing, media, blah, 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 join the community. We've got an offer right now. It's half off before we move to our own dedicated platform, which will have a bunch of AI features. So like the video and I'll see you in the next one.